For anyone in professional services, managing fixed fee arrangements is complex at best, and if we're honest, is at times frankly scary. I know in my career, I've had some particularly scary moments where I've got fixed fee agreements wrong, hey? And it's scary because the fixed fee arrangements we design as part of our clients' negotiations have the opportunity to disappoint our clients or disappoint the firm, right? If we lose profitability, right? And whilst they're seemingly simple, they're actually not. They're incredibly complex. And if we don't get them right, we're gonna erode margin. We're gonna miss our fixed fees, all of those sort of things. Yeah. So I'm going to talk through a tech-enabled playbook for systemizing or standardizing those fees, and ultimately, looking at profitability and client satisfaction and how we can impact that. So we're doing a lot of work in this at the moment as part of our Finance V3 roadmap. So it's a subject that I'm spending a lot of time on. So please bear with me as this post might be quite lengthy. So step one, we need to capture the fee arrangement. And again, that sounds super simple. And I mean, I spent, bulk of my career in professional services, management and sort of technology consulting, right? And that tends to be a lot simpler than legal. We had fixed fees, we had hourly fees, and we had the dreaded capped hourly fees where you never won. But in legal, it is super, super complex. Scarily so somewhat. Yeah, you got your fixed fees, you got hourly fees, you got conditional fees, you got tiered fees. And then you start looking at things like the fee structures for legal aids and some of the really complex fee arrangements you're doing for sort of volume defendant insurance. So my God, I have never seen fee arrangements as complicated than that. But our starting point nevertheless is we need to be able to model those and capture those. And how we started doing that was broadly just looking at all of the superset of all the contracts that people were designing into these commercial contracts, and then started to create a designer that we can start to codify those, right? And we'll come on to why codifying is super important, right? Because we need to move away from Excel fundamentally. Take you through that journey. The next item we need to talk about in terms of the playbook of systemizing fixed fees is how we are intelligent around our capture. So a complex fixed fee arrangement often has things like initial upfront is £400 for a real estate transaction or whatever it might be. But you often get additional fees that happen based on events. And that's the same for conditional fee arrangements, right? Or if there's an abortive transaction or whatever it might be. The general idea of an event, transactions aborted. There's a matrimonial issue on a transaction that triggers an additional fixed fee. We need to capture those. Now, without a sophisticated fee model, we might well have a playbook, right? So as part of your billing cycle at a month end, you might go and review your playbook and go, actually, I should be charging an extra 50 quid or whatever it might be. Yeah. And that's pretty effective, but not the way in which we're going to maximize our profit. We're going to continually erode £50 here, £100 there, or on really large agreements, we might erode, significant amount of money rather than, small stuff you see on volume. So over time, we should look to automate these. And I guess it's the job of a provider of your fees engine, and ShareDo's provides a fees engine, but it could be any provider, that we not only need to capture the type of fees and enable you to model those fees, but also trigger them at the relevant point. So something changed on a file, I'm instantly updating the fees, and hence you're not losing that additional margin, your profitability's bigger. As an aside, right, and I was talking about this earlier, concept of customer satisfaction and fees, right? So let me illustrate this as an example. So I go to a restaurant, have a super lovely meal, right? And I'm customer satisfaction to the max. The bill arrives and they've charged me for 3 drinks that I didn't have. Now, that erodes my customer satisfaction immediately. So it's not just intelligent fees are not just, or systemizing fees is not just about maximizing profit. It's such a big indicator to customer satisfaction. And we all understand that from our experience of restaurants and getting it wrong. And whether we're super British and we don't complain or we do complain, regardless, our customer satisfaction has gone down, right? So my third step in terms of systemizing fees is about introducing some guardrails. And we typically have these guardrails in place in a variety of forms. I mean, fee earners will be reviewing the fees prior to billing, for example, and double checking. And hopefully they're double checking those every time. But nevertheless, if you're doing a volume of transactions, your attention to detail does diminish, right? It fundamentally diminishes. In the same way you'd hope that maybe the restaurant is checking every single bill, but if they're doing, I don't know, 50 covers a night, are they checking every one? I don't know. Same concept, different industry plainly, but same concept. So I think we can go a step further, right? We can look at predictive analytics assisting us not only with the pricing of our fees, and we're going to talk about that in a separate post, but also with what we expect the actual fees to be, right? So maybe the machine says, actually, you should have charged an additional £50, but you forgot to do it. Maybe I didn't have to charge that £50, but at least it can point my double checking in the right direction. So in summary, legal fee arrangements are beyond complex. I've never seen anything of the like of it. I'd be really interested if any other industries have fee arrangements that come quite as complex as that. We need to codify them. We need to model them. We need to sprinkle on this intelligence. We need to sprinkle on these guardrails. And with that, we have the opportunity to not just maximize our profits, also the opportunity of decreasing any negative customer satisfaction from getting that wrong or mischarging. And that's got to be a good thing.